All right, welcome to Southern Door Solutions. This is our fourth and final talk show that we're going to be having. Today we're going to be talking about the Boy Scouts of America changing their name to the Scouts of America. So today we have Trey Cluth, who is a Boy Scout in one of our local troops in Southern Door, and this is Helen Parks. So we're going to start out with an explanation of exactly what happened with the Boy Scouts changing their name. Trey, do you have any insights about the leading up to this event or what this would change?
Nope.
Okay. So, what really, I've done some research on this. So, really what happened is there was a lot of events leading up to the changing of the name. Within the last 2 years, Trey, you've probably noticed that there's been a lot of requirement changes.
Yes.
And adding in, and they've been changing the program.
Yep.
The top leaders of the Boy Scouts of America.
Yes.
Some of those requirement changes being that you have to teach some cyberbullying and technology and how to be safe when using technology. Some of those requirements have definitely changed. So that was about a year ago. Maybe more recently, this has been, the name change has been one of the biggest events that has happened so far. And that happened about a week ago, officially. So with that, Trey, I'd like you to talk about how scouting, like the Boy Scouts of America, has affected you and maybe the way that you do things.
Boy Scouts of America has affected me a lot because I spent over 50% of my life in Scouts and Scout related. It's helped me change as a person and my point of view of the world that I did before. And I think it's a good lesson for all boys to join Boy Scouts because it teaches them how to be young men at an early age and how they develop and mature as they grow older.
Okay. What are some of the recent changes that maybe have affected you?
That they're changing it from Boy Scouts to the Scouts. I honestly just don't like that because, like, us Boy Scouts, we have the Boy Scouts of America and then girls have the Girl Scouts. And I think just changing it from Boy Scouts to the Scouts, it just changes the whole perspective of Boy Scouting.
Then how do you think the perspective changes?
I think it changes dramatically because if it changes the Scouting, I know that girls will be able to join now, and I know that there's been a couple rules about how, like, I don't know how to say this, but like, there's adventuring for Boy Scouts and for Girl Scouts. So I'm confused how they changed it from Boy Scouts to Scouts when there's already a group for boys and girls.
Yeah, so do you want to expand on the venturing aspect of Boy Scouts? Would you maybe tell us some information that you know about it, some of your personal experiences with that program?
Of course you have the males and the females, and you guys go on trips together, you guys get to know each other, which is great, but adventuring is for both sexes, which is good for some people, but like, if we're in Boy Scouts, for example, we want just boys. There's nothing wrong with having females as like leaders or anything. It's just that it's for Boy Scouts to grow and be around each other.
Okay, yeah, that was a very good explanation. Helen, I know that you aren't in Boy Scouts, which is now the Scouts, but have you been affected by the Boy Scouts at all? Like, have you seen maybe some events that go on in the community that Scouts have been at?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of events like grocery bagging, obviously, and I know you guys, I think, do the food drive, and so I've seen you guys around the community. I know you guys really help out and do a lot of stuff.
Okay. Now with the name change, would you ever consider joining Scouts?
I think with all the things that I'm involved in, they might overlap a lot. I don't think I would join just because of where I'm at this point in my life. I'm so involved in everything else that I feel like it's not something I feel the need to join.
Okay, and that's totally fine. Building off of that, do you think, so instead of affecting you personally, how do you think that this change could affect society as a whole?
I'm not sure really how it will affect society. They might start to recognize more girls with the Boy Scouts and start to maybe recognize them more as just Scouts. I'm not really sure if it'll be a big issue. I know I'm in a lot of groups that are co-ed, and I think it really prepares you for being out in the real world and being in the workplace where you're going to have to interact with the opposite sex.
Yes, that's a very, very valid observation that you have. Trey, do you think that, I'm going to ask you the same question. How do you think that the Boy Scouts changing their name to the Scouts will affect society as a whole?
I don't think it'll affect society as much as the members in Boy Scouts. Like for society, it'll be good to see like opposite sexes getting along and doing activities with each other. But I think for like Boy Scouts, like me for example, if we have girls in our troop, it's just gonna get weird. To me it will be, because I'm just used to a bunch of guys, and it's just gonna have to I'm just gonna have to get used to it.
Okay, so like how you were talking about how it's going to be weird when girls get brought into the picture. What do you think some of the weirdness, quote unquote, could look like or feel like?
I think it's just gonna be weird because like if you go to camps, some Boy Scouts, they're not mature enough and they'll be either sexist to the females or they'll be harassing them and they'll make the girls feel weird, and then it just stacks the problems even higher.
Okay. All right. So is there anything that either one of you would like to say as maybe like a closing statement? Okay. All right. So with that, we are going to conclude our fourth and final talk show. Thank you, Trey and Helen, for coming in and participating in this event. And thank you, viewers, for leaving comments and letting us know what you think.